Are you a bad sleeper? In this video, I'm going to share with you behavioral techniques, no medicines, to help you improve the quality and quantity of your sleep. Now don't turn away, because all that starts right now. Howdy! Thanks for learning about MS with me, Aaron Boster. In this video, I want to discuss behavioral techniques, no drugs, that can help you improve the quality and quantity of your sleep. The reality is that if you don't get restful sleep, you're making it really hard on yourself the next day. And if you have a chronic condition like multiple sclerosis, the impact of that poor sleep is magnified significantly. So what, you say? What exactly is the benefit of getting better sleep? From an MS perspective, it's quite significant. Better sleep will result in more energy throughout the next day. That's a big deal. It also will improve thinking and memory and improve mood by decreasing depression and decreasing anxiety. It allows us to manage stressful situations better. From a symptomatic standpoint, you'll see a decrease in overall spasticity and a decrease in neuropathic pain when you are better rested. There's a lot of benefit. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some things that you can do at home. These are the same recommendations that I give my patients in my clinic as we try to game out how to optimize sleep to improve the waking hours. So let's jump in. Now, if we're going to dive into behavioral measures, I want to start with daytime wakeful activities which have a massive impact on sleep that night. And there's really like three that I want to hone in on. When and what you drink, and to a lesser extent eat, when and how much you nap, and exercise during the day. So we'll take them in that order. When you drink fluids, you're going to make urine for about 6 hours. And so if you're drinking a lot of fluids the second half of your day, let's say from when you get home from work until when you go to bed, you're going to be making some very significant amount of urine. And let's say that you're drinking until 10 p.m., 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m., you can expect to wake once or twice or thrice to empty your bladder. And so when you drink fluids during the day matters. And I would recommend that you drink 2/3 of all the fluid you're going to drink in the first half of your day. That means basically you're really being hardcore about water through lunch. And then after the dinner hour, try to really put the kibosh on water. Now you don't have to walk around the house going, if you need a sip of water, take a sip of water. But if you really drink a lot of water in the morning, you're not going to be as thirsty and need water in the evening. The point here is you won't be going into the bed making urine, and you're going to wake up less often to go to the bathroom. Now, what you drink matters also. Caffeinated beverages are diuretics, and they're stimulants. And if you're drinking caffeine in the second half of your day, I'll say from lunch on, there's a risk that it may keep you up at night. Even though it's a mild stimulant, some people are very sensitive, and a cup of coffee at 2 is going to make them really struggle to stay asleep at night. On the other end of that same spectrum, alcohol is a sedative hypnotic. And some people think, hey, if I have a nightcap, an alcoholic beverage before bed, well, that's going to help me hit the hay. It may help you start to sleep, but when it wears off, there's a rebound insomnia. And you may find on a night when you drink that you wake up really, really early and can't go back to bed. Again, avoiding alcoholic beverages before bed is an important step. As it relates to eating, I would ideally like at least 2 hours between my last meal and when I go to bed. Let's turn our attention now to other activities. Napping. Getting a half an hour power nap can be super helpful to kind of recharge your battery. But if you find that you're sleeping 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in the middle of your day, as many of my patients tell me they may, that's not really napping. That's fracturing your sleep and getting a big chunk of sleep in the middle of your day. And what that does to your sleep architecture is really hardcore, kind of breaks it apart and makes things really, really messy and very hard to fix. It's not uncommon that someone will tell me they're so exhausted that by noon they crash, and then they wake up at 5, and when the whole family's going to bed at 10, they're getting their second wind, and then they're up all night when everyone else is sleeping. They've shifted their sleep cycles around. So we want to limit naps to a half an hour, maybe a maximum of an hour. And I would suggest that you not nap in your bed. We're going to talk about that later. I want you to be napping on the couch. The last daytime activity that I want to highlight is exercise. Simply put, if you get some movement in during the day, go for a brisk walk, do some yoga, if you do exercise during the day, it's going to consolidate sleep and improve sleep quality that night. So with this in mind, now let's turn our attention to the actual bedroom. Do me a favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Those two actions teach the YouTube algorithm that you like this content and help push it out so more people impacted by MS can benefit. Thank you. Let's spend a moment talking about what the bed is for. The bed is for two things only. There's only two activities that we should be doing there. One is sex and one is sleep, and we should be able to tell them apart. Now, what you don't want to be doing in bed is also very, very important. The bed is not a big couch. You shouldn't watch TV in bed. You shouldn't look at your phone in bed. You shouldn't read books in bed. You shouldn't talk to your partner in bed or ruminate over concerns and problems that you have in bed. The bed is for sex or sleeping. You shouldn't eat in bed. You really should reserve the bed for those two activities. Because what ends up happening if you don't is you associate the bed as a giant couch, and when you go there, your body's like, all right, let's watch TV, or hey, we're going to have an argument, or oh, now is the time that I get to eat food, or what have you. But what you're not doing is working on sleeping. Similarly, if you think about all your problems in the bed, you can train your body that the bed is where you ruminate and think about issues. So framing out what the bed is for is important. Only two activities. The bedroom needs to be able to accommodate those activities. And the spirit of this video is to talk about sleep. So what we want to do with setting up the bedroom is important. It needs to be able to become pitch black. So if you have really great sheer blinds that let the light in, that's lovely, but they're not going to help you at night when you're trying to get restorative sleep. You need to have curtains that are going to make it pitch black. You need to not have screens in the room. Serious. I would recommend strongly taking the TV out of the room and making sure that your phone is not present in the room because the light is going to really risk waking you up. The room needs to be at a proper temperature. If it's too cold or too hot, that's going to result in waking you up for one reason or another, and it needs to be quiet. Lastly, we need a space where you're not going to have interruptions. All too often, we can have kids parading in and out all night long. We can have dogs parading in and out all night long. We can have spouses coming in or coming out at different times. And all of those things can jack up our sleep. And so spend some time reminding yourself what the bed is for and how the bedroom needs to be set up for success. The next step is to time lock when we go to sleep and when we wake up. We want to do that for two reasons. One, to make sure that we're budgeting 8 hours a night. And two, because by time locking sleep, we're going to be able to ultimately consolidate it, as I'll explain. So for the sake of this discussion, let's agree that we'll go to bed at 10 p.m. and we'll sleep 8 hours until 6 a.m. And those two things should happen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. On the weekends as well, because we don't want to change our sleep schedule on the weekends and try to catch back up on the weekdays. Now, when I talk about time locking bedtime, that's when you're going to get in bed to go to sleep. So you're going to do your nighttime routine before 10, maybe let's say 9 o'clock. And I want you to get all your yayas out before you enter the bed. So if you like to decompress by taking a bath or reading a book, do those things. But I don't want you to read the book in the bed. I want you to read at a bedside chair or something like this. Because again, we're only doing two things in the bed. If you like to go over your emails or if you like to search the interwebs or something, do that outside the bed before you enter it, because 10 is the time that you're going to go to bed. Similarly, when I say we time lock when you wake up at 6, what I mean is you're done sleeping and the bed is now off limits for the rest of the day until 10 the next night. So you need to exit the bed, and you need to really exit your bedroom. This is very important if all the other stuff I'm going to talk to you about is going to work. One last rule. If we're in bed for 20 minutes and not doing one of the two approved activities, we have to exit the bed. I don't want you sitting in bed, tossing and turning and getting frustrated that you can't sleep, because you're teaching your body that's what happens in bed. So if 20 minutes goes by, you think, I'm not having sex, I'm not sleeping, exit your bed. What you do when you exit your bed is really important. Do not turn the lights on, please. Don't turn the TV or the computer or even the phone on, because the light will help wake you up. It needs to stay dimly lit. Please do an activity that's kind of boring, like read a boring, relaxing glamour magazine from 1980, or needlepoint, or do something that's not going to stimulate you too much. And sit at the bedside chair until you think, all right, I think I can go back to bed, and climb back in bed. And if 20 minutes goes by and you can't sleep again, you're going to exit your bed. And now that we've set the ground rules for success, here's how it oftentimes plays out. The first several nights, you're up out of bed, back in bed, up out of bed, back in bed, and you wake up at 6 and you're really, really tired. And you're not napping more than a half an hour to an hour, if at all. And so by the following night at 10 p.m., you're really tired. You repeat the process, getting out of bed and getting back in bed, getting out of bed, getting back in bed, and finally getting some sleep and still waking up at 6 a.m. And that next day, you're tired and you're going to start to push and consolidate your sleep into those hours, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. You've set the stage to get good restorative sleep. Now, this process can be a little bit ouchy, and you might get mad at Dr. B and say, this is really frustrating, and it's going to take probably 3 to 4 weeks to lock it in, so prepare accordingly. A pro tip is to stretch before bed. This is going to really decrease spasticity. Spend 10 minutes, get on the floor or on the bed itself, and stretch out your butt, your back, your hamstrings, your quadriceps, your hips, your calves. Give them a good, proper stretch, because that's going to decrease the risk of spasms, cramps, and charley horses as you're trying to get restorative sleep. Improving your sleep quality and quantity is critically important if you're going to live your best life, particularly with a chronic condition. If you'd like to up your game and learn other tricks and tips, click the video that's on your screen right now. Until my next Monday morning video, or the next time I see you on a live stream, or even better yet, the next time I see you at the Boster Center for MS, this is Aaron Boster saying be safe and sleep well.